Docker is an open source software that runs on Linux, macOS, and Windows that enables developers to package their applications and their dependencies together into lightweight, standalone, and isolated units called containers. A Docker container being a runnable instance of another component called an image, which can be seen as a snapshot of an environment that can be started, stopped, moved, and removed just like any other processes on your system. So in this lesson, you'll learn the most basic Docker commands you need to know for managing images and containers that we'll then use in the following one to launch a MySQL database instance. Just note that if you already know how to use Docker, you can of course skip this lesson and directly move to the following one. If you don't have Docker installed yet, you can navigate to the official Docker website at the following URL, select the platform your computer is running on, and simply follow the provided installation guide. Once you've done that, you can make sure that the Docker engine is running by executing the following docker ps command. To run a container, we must first download its image from the Docker registry on our local machine using the docker pull command. The Docker registry being a distributed system for Docker images similar to the npm registry. When running this command, Docker will automatically fetch the latest version available of the target image. If you want to download a specific version instead, you can specify its tag by concatenating it to the image name using the double dot syntax. For example, to pull the latest version of Node, you can use the following command, and to pull the Node version 16 running on Alpine Linux, you can use the following command instead. From here, to get a list of all your locally downloaded images, you can use the docker images command, and to delete one of these images to reclaim disk space for instance, you can use the docker image rm command. To launch a container, which as a reminder is a runnable instance of an image, you can use the docker run command followed by the name of the image you want to run it from. Since by default containers run in the foreground, thus blocking the command line until they terminate, they can also be launched in the background, which is called the detached mode using the D option flag. It's good to note that if you execute docker run with an image that wasn't previously downloaded on your local machine using the docker pull command, Docker will automatically download it for you. From here, to get a list of the containers currently running on your machine, you can use the docker ps command, which will also give you additional information about these containers, such as their identifier, uptime, and status. On the other hand, if you want to also include the containers that are stopped, you can use the A flag, which stands for all. Now, to stop a running container, you can use the docker stop command using its identifier. To restart a stopped container, you can use the docker start command using also its identifier. And finally, to remove a stopped container, you can use the docker rm command using once again its identifier. Now that you know the basic commands for managing images and containers, let's review together a complete example using an image called Getting Started that runs a web server containing a Getting Started tutorial for Docker that, by the way, I encourage you to thoroughly explore if you want to know more about this technology. So let's start by running this container using the run command alongside two flags, D and P, where the D option flag is used to launch a container in the background, and the P option flag is used to map the port 80 of the local machine to the port 80 of the container in order to enable the communication between these two environments so that the requests sent on the port 80 of the host are forwarded to the port 80 of the container. Indeed, since containers are by nature isolated environments, we need to explicitly indicate which port we want to expose to applications running outside of the container's environment for them to be able to communicate with each other. Once we've executed our command, we can now verify that the container is up and running using the docker ps command and open the following address in our browser, which will open the Getting Started web page powered by the web server running in the Docker container. As a reminder, you can pause the container whenever you want using the docker stop command and remove it when you don't need it anymore using the docker rm command.